Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world right now, I want to welcome you. You're tuned in to Learn How to See Better, the only podcast out there that'll improve your vision the longer you listen. And I'm just taking a quick moment on a beautiful day here in Phoenix, Arizona, enjoying the outside weather. Sunny skies, sunny, beautiful blue skies, only a slight overcast, and a light, calm breeze. It's late in the year. It's October here at the time of this recording, 2021. And there's a good chunk of time left in 2021 to make the rest of your year the best of your year. And today I was thinking about something that I thought would be relevant to share because, sometimes people ask the question. I've been asked this question. I've asked this question of others. It's one of those kind of high-level questions where you think, is there any value to free advice? And some of us have heard, if you just get advice that's free, there's no value in it, right? Or maybe the perception is that you've got to pay for advice that's, worthy of listening to. And while there's instances I would agree with this statement, I think there's other instances where that's just not quite true. It's not true at all. I actually had an experience recently where I had the opportunity to give someone some advice that reached out and asked for my opinion. Technically they wanted to pick my brain, which if you actually think about how that sounds, that's not too pleasant at all. But the idea was that, it was a person that likely was in the same shoes I was at one point. And so many times we can be at a point in life where we feel like, man, I'm wrestling with this problem. I'm struggling with this challenge. And it's like I'm trying to figure out the code to get into a safe full of knowledge, and you've got maybe 2 of the numbers and you need 3 numbers to figure it out, or you've got 3 keys and you need 4 keys, and it's like you're just missing that one piece. And so sometimes when you're asking the question to yourself, maybe to the universe, you're thinking, I know I've come this far, I figured this out and that out, and I think I've got most of it, but there's just a key piece that I don't have accessible. And so when I recently had an experience, someone was reaching out to me asking a question. I thought, because I'm naturally a giver, I want to be able to help this person. And oddly enough, the person was a stranger. So, what would really drive me to help them specifically? And I think maybe they just caught me at the right time on the right day where I was feeling particularly generous and shared a little bit of information, and then I shared a little bit more information, and then I kind of realized it's like, I'm practically coaching this person at this point. And not that my mind shifted to go ahead and send them an invoice when this is all done, but it's one of those scenarios where I realized I was helping them, and then I thought to myself, are they really going to be able to take advantage of the information I've shared, the knowledge and experience that I've kind of, poured on top of them, right? Poured on top of them some of my experience, filled their cup. And just because the advice was freely given by me and freely received by them, I don't think it was a scenario where they're just going to take it and discount and say, whatever, I just got this person's opinion. And the reason I feel that way is you can tell sometimes when you interact with people that they are appreciative of the information you share, or they at least show or appear to be genuinely appreciative. And that in and of itself has some value, right? From my standpoint, from my perspective, just the fact that a person's truly, genuinely appreciative of the advice that I was able to give them and share with them with no charge, no bill, no invoice. And I realized that so many times through life, yes, I'll agree that the best information that I've received from others, I had to dig in my pocket and open the wallet to get. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And granted, I didn't solve all this person's problems and answer a million questions for them, but just in the handful of questions that I did ask, it made me realize that, I don't think you mess with the energy of the universe in any particularly negative way by being willing to openly share and freely offer advice. And I know that the value of the advice that I shared was particularly useful to them. And so I was able to, kind of, find a certain peace in knowing that you've helped someone today, you've done a good deed in the world, and I just hope that they pay it forward, right? Pay it forward, because that's one of the best ways that you can show appreciation for receiving something of value is to give it back, to pay it forward, to help someone else. Take that information and that insight that I've given them, pour it into the cup of another. And it's just one of the good ways that you can help the positive energy of the universe keep circulating, right? And so I was thinking about that today, and I thought I'd share it here because, there are instances in our lives where we might ask someone a question, and maybe the question isn't well thought out or well worded, and you might receive advice that's really just someone's opinion, but maybe they don't have your best interest in mind. Maybe they're not really trying to put themselves into your shoes. They're just giving you their perspective. Should I try this new opportunity? Should I do this? Should I do that? And maybe because they don't want to, or it's not something that interests them. Hey, should I start a new exercise program? Or should I try to eat more healthy? Well, if the person you're asking has no desire to take care of the inputs that they put into their body from a food or nutritional perspective, or they don't have any desire to grow mentally or improve their body physically, or just develop in any kind of way, then the perspective of that individual is going to more than likely be, nah, don't bother with that. They're kind of like a naysayer, like, why would you want to do that? And so you receive free advice in those instances that really doesn't line up with your goals and intentions. So yeah, that free advice isn't worthy of you taking that and letting it influence your actions or decisions. But I think it's a little bit different when you find that there's a commonality in not just the requester of the information, but the provider of the information on the opposite side, right? In this case, someone had a question they wanted to ask me about business and, how to be more successful in business, specific to real estate investing. And because I'm a real estate investor, and because this is an area that I have a lot of knowledge and expertise in, I elected to consider their situation, what they're trying to do, what they've done so far, the efforts that they've taken thus far. And I said, you know what? I might be able to light this person's candle today. And I don't lose my fire by lighting their candle. Again, I'm a busy person, and it's not always one of these things where I just sit around waiting for people to ask me questions and gain guidance in this arena. But this particular day, it just felt like a good thing to do for someone in the world. And by thinking about that a little bit more after the fact, it's like, maybe it's not so bad to do a little bit more of that. And I thought about maybe taking that advice and maybe repurposing it, to a wider audience and helping others potentially benefit from that insight, right? Because once you share it with one person, if you share some information with one person and they take that advice and they do something with it, maybe they have a positive result, but maybe it stops there. And my willingness to share, let's just say one tidbit of info, how many more lives could I impact if I just took that one tidbit? I'm not trying to solve all the world's problems or give every drop of knowledge and expertise and experience that I have, just away like it doesn't have any value, right? Because I know the saying that people who pay attention. And there is some truth to that. And I realized that when I was going through the paces of developing my own knowledge and basis of expertise in business. And so there's definitely truth to that. And at the same time, there are those instances where you can potentially light someone else's candle, help them to develop a base of knowledge, or just maybe have a breakthrough from a challenge and start to make progress in their own world. And because of the way I believe that good energy propagates, I fully expect that person is going to take the value that I shared with them, take action on it. And, I'd be quite flattered if they reached out to me one day in the future that said, hey, I really appreciate what you shared with me. I was able to do X, Y, and Z with it and got some really positive results. And more importantly, sometime later in the future, I was asked by someone else who'd been in shoes just like mine and experienced just like mine. And I didn't just turn my nose up at them and blow them off. I actually took a moment to help them out so they could get past a small obstacle because they'd been churning and burning energy trying to get through this. And that would make me feel really good. You light someone else's candle. Now they've got the light, you've got the light, you don't lose anything. I lit their candle so they could have light on their path, on their journey. And then they went on in the future when the time was right, after action was taken, results were achieved, to light the candle of someone else. And what a reward, right? What a reward from just being willing and able and open to be a giver. That can result in positive outlooks and positive outcomes for others. That's pretty cool to me. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you feel the same way or similarly? If so, let me know. Drop a comment. Reach out. I'd love to have an exchange about it. But for today's episode, I thought I'd share a little bit about the value of free advice. Don't be fooled. Just because you don't have to stroke a check to someone to get your question answered doesn't mean that there's no value in the advice. But I think the moral of the story here is that when you reach out for advice, if you're looking for someone to just kind of help you out, answer a question, maybe you don't want them picking your brain, but there's instances where you can help someone. And if you feel so inclined to naturally and generously do so, don't be afraid to do it once or twice. You might find that it's got some hidden rewards for you waiting on the other side, especially when you realize that there's a small chance that person might take action on your advice. They might be very intentional and place a high level of value in the time and insight and information you shared with them. If they take action on it and receive positive results, they might give you the feedback and be all that much more appreciative. And a level beyond that is they might take that lit candle that you provided them with and light someone else's candle. And it's a great way to just keep positivity and good intentions flowing through the world. And I think that's part of the one way that we can all help to make the world a better place. So if you find in your heart you've got good intentions to help someone today, or maybe help someone the next time that a question comes your way, maybe you don't even know them, take a shot, see how it feels. If you don't like it, don't do it again. But it could give you an opportunity to really initiate the good feelings, the good vibes that can come from helping someone else. And you know what they say about the law of reciprocity. I don't have the exact order of how it all comes together, but the way I've come to understand it is, giving begins the receiving process. You can't receive something until someone else has given it, right? So understand that giving begins the receiving process, and learn how to give. And you might be surprised that the feeling of giving is really good, knowing that someone's appreciative of what they've received. And hopefully, just maybe, just possibly, they might take action on that gift they've received and pay it forward in the future to someone else who's very deserving. That's how we get more goodness to move through the world. So I just want to take that moment to share these thoughts here on a sunny afternoon in October in Phoenix, Arizona, 2021. There's about 70 or so days left in the year for us all to make the rest of our year the best of our year. And in these 70 or so days remaining, can you find it in your heart to give a little to help someone? Maybe you offer them free advice, but it's not worthless advice, right? Giving begins the receiving process. Keep that in mind, and I wish you all many gifts that come from giving so that you all may receive more, benefit more, and live that much more of a happier life. Thanks for listening.